Welcome back. A federal appeals court has cleared the way for President Trump's executive order targeting collective bargaining rights for federal workers. That's all while a lawsuit against the move continues. The court granted an emergency request from the Trump administration to pause a previous ruling that had blocked the order.
Yeah, judges ruled on technical grounds, saying unions can't sue yet since no agreements have been terminated. The administration argues the order is vital for national security, while unions warn it's a step toward mass layoffs. Joining us now to break this all down, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. We're learning so much, I feel like, over the past couple months about the timing of these things. So break down why the timing is so important.
Timing is crucial here, but this is injunctions, right? The court is lifting the injunction for something that I've talked about before. If we're talking about injunctions, you got four parts. You have the first thing, irreparable harm, likelihood of success on the merits, this balancing of the equities, and then this public interest. The court went through that entire analysis, this three-panel court. The original judge, district court judge, went through the exact same analysis, but these two of the judges, I should say, not justices, but judges, did not agree with the lower court's decision, specifically that there was no irreparable harm, that this is something that money could fix. If these folks are fired, if they don't have their ability to negotiate, yeah, they can always go back and seek some type of monetary fee. And so that's what the court went there. And they did touch on a little bit of some other things. Normally, when you're looking at an injunction, the court won't touch the underlying issue. But when you're addressing that likelihood of success on the marriage, you'll have a little bit of a conversation about it, and the judges here did the same thing. They said, well, if you don't allow the Trump administration to do this, it's also infringing on his ability to protect national security, because they allege that a number of these folks have connections to national security companies. So the FBI, the CIA, and other folks that are federal employees, that's who they were talking about, that they want to, along with a number of other organizations, want to lose that ability to collective bargaining rights. And so that's the steps that they went through. But timing is, if you can't show that you have irreparable harm, if you can't show it now, then the court won't give you what's called this extraordinary relief. An injunction is just that. It's asking the court to do something outside the normal bounds, because in the normal process, I file a complaint, you file a response, we go to court, we have a hearing, and then we have a resolution. An injunction is saying, before we do all of that, I want them to stop what they're doing now and then allow us to go do that. And so I have to emphasize that is an extraordinary relief, that the court has to jump over a high burden, and those 4 points are the high burden. So the timing aspect is that they can't show that now. Well, let's just go through the normal process and let this fall where it may, and allow them to continue to do what you're asking us to stop until we get to a final resolution.
And I think when we get into legalese, which is why we're glad that you're here, right? When people see that on its face, it's like, okay, this is stopped, this lawsuit can move forward. Is that basically what you just said? So how does that work?
Well, what happens is it's all one lawsuit, right? I'm trying to move this paper forward, but in between there, we got some other things that jump in the way. An injunction is that. It's saying, I don't like what they're doing. I want them to stop hitting me. Make them stop hitting me, and we can figure out if it's legal or not for them to be able to hit me. That's probably the best way I can describe what an injunction is. The court won't really address the hitting. Right. They'll just say stop the hitting until we have time to see if it's legal or not. What happened with this most recent court decision is that they're saying, no, we'll allow them to keep hitting you until we figure it out. Because injunctive relief is so extraordinary that we don't think that you guys have met the burden to force him to stop. And that's exactly what happened. So they've touched a little bit of the underlying issues, but haven't done a full, thorough analysis, and that's what the underlying court will do.
Okay, let's stay with this whole entire hitting analogy. In order to get irreparable harm, though, are they saying, Khalif, first you have to get knocked out. We need to see you on the floor passed out, and then we can say, oh, wow, Khalif's hurt. Now you have harm there. Now you prove that.
I like that, staying with that analogy. So it's really irreparable harm is, I can fix your broken tooth. You know, I can replace your eye with money. But if I lose something else, I can't fix that with money. Like, you know,
your self-esteem, your morale, like you lost your job. What about that?
And those are things that the court's saying that there's a money amount that you can put on that. I can go back and get back pay. Most of the time, the court's not taking your feelings into consideration. What they are taking into consideration is, what dollar amount can you put on it? Lost wages. You know, now there are certain times to where you can take harm, you know, but I mean, the thought process in the account. But in this situation, specifically when you're talking about employment, we can just point to dollars and cents. You fired me 3 years ago. I want 3 years back pay, and I want the future earnings that I would have gotten because I would have had that experience. You can clearly articulate those by a dollar amount, and that's what the court's saying, that any harm that will come to these workers, there's money connected to it. Sue for the money, allow this to be worked out in the court process, but we're not going to stop him from doing what he's legally, we believe right now, is able to do.
All right. Well, so I feel, we say injunctions, injunctions, injunctions. I feel like we all should maybe get an honorary law degree.
You should.
After
And then I'll file an injunction to stop it.
There we go. All right, Khalif, thank you so much for that.